I'm X.
And I'm Z.
And together we're
X and Z. On today's show, we discuss International Women's Day, canceling Dr. Seuss, Pepe Le Pew, and Mr. Potato Head. Does Prince Harry have a last name? And millennials adulting and the CDC.
Here we are, episode 7. Woo woo.
Is this episode 7?
It's episode 7. Can you believe it?
I lose track sometimes.
And we're really at 8 weeks because we did miss a week. So
Anchor says that we have seasons, so I just have been putting it as season 1. But I don't even know if we're going to do it in a seasonal format.
How long do you do the seasons where you just pick 12
Well,
seasons, episodes?
I've never seen a podcast that had seasons before. I've only ever seen a podcast that had episodes, but Anchor gives you the option.
Well, that's kind of cool. I guess we could decide that at a later date. Season 1, episode 7.
I've never seen a podcast do seasons before. Maybe they do it behind the scenes, but it's always like episode 115.
I did not know that.
I don't know if that's just a weird option they put or what.
I don't know. I guess we don't have to decide now. See how it pans out.
Yeah.
So today is International Women's Day. You need to praise me.
Praise be the woman who lives in my house.
The only woman that lives in your house.
The only woman.
I don't even get a dog that's female.
Well, you had total control over that part, so.
I didn't have total control over it.
Yeah, you did. You could get a girl dog. Plenty of
the
people,
dog. I thought you meant like you guys.
Plenty of people have girl dogs.
Okay, yes, I could have picked. Do you know why I didn't pick a girl dog?
Because the lady told you that the girl dogs kill the grass and the girl dogs are smarter.
That wasn't why.
I thought that was why.
No, not at all. The lady didn't tell me anything. No, I didn't get a girl dog because, for one, they have menses, so they bleed.
I didn't know it was called menses.
And secondly, women or female dogs can get like territorial. They can be.
He's territorial,
but like more than that, like troublesomely territorial. So little Morty, he's my baby.
He's asleep on his bed. He's asleep on his bed every podcast.
He's comforted by our voices.
We're his two favorite people in the house. So when we're in one room together, it's all over.
When we were in Utah and we FaceTime little Z, and he put the camera down to him, he was looking in there like, I hear you guys, but I don't see you.
It's weird how they can't see the FaceTime.
Even though, it's like it doesn't make sense. He was looking at it and tilting his head, but he heard us, but he didn't get it. But then when we got home, he was very excited.
Yeah, he's been pretty clingy since, actually.
No, but anyway, International Women's Day, so awesome. Women are awesome.
Is there an International Men's Day, or is it only
probably? I mean, you guys get every day.
Yeah, I guess every day is International Men's Day.
So we have to get special days.
Well, I like International Women's Day.
It's a good day. Lots of good women in the forefront.
Yeah, like Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle, we were talking about Meghan Markle last night.
They were mean to her and racist to her and classist to her, and everyone was surprised about that.
I don't think anybody was surprised about it. When I was watching the show last night, I wasn't at all surprised. They did it to Diana.
The royal family.
She wasn't a person of color, but she was an outsider, and they didn't.
People were calling for them to abolish the monarchy, right? But the monarchy makes the British like a crap load of money.
Not just that. Well, so for tourism and all that stuff. Yeah, they're mutually accepted.
So
why do you think? Okay, so last night after that happened, remember the UK is however many hours away from where we are, and late at night, every night, so like midnight, 1 o'clock is around the time the people in the UK. So I'm Pacific Standard Time. They are waking up. So everybody on Twitter was saying American Twitter was waiting for UK Twitter to wake up, and they were going to go toe to toe. Everybody was going to fight. And it actually was kind of crazy. Like they did come at, like the Americans were like, what? What were you trying to do to her? You did what to Meghan Markle? And Meghan Markle? Markle.
Yeah, Meghan Markle. Except, isn't her name whatever Prince Harry's last name is now? Or did she keep it? Because it's her brand. Everyone calls her Meghan Markle.
Their last name? How do I not know this?
Prince
I went blank.
Harry.
Prince.
His name, first name Prince.
His last name Harry.
What's Obama's last name?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what their last name is.
What's Obama's last name?
Are they like the the Prince of York? I mean, do they have do they have a last name?
They have a last names.
I don't know what it is.
Well, maybe they're Bourbons. Because the European monarchy, where there were Bourbons, Habsburgs, Valois were eradicated.
I'm gonna
a while
look it up because
ago.
now I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
That
Are they Bourbons? I don't know. Maybe they're like part of the historical. I don't know. I've never been a
Last name of
European
Prince Charles.
royal. What's his last name? What is it?
It's not okay here.
Do you not get to have
Prince Harry's last name is so complicated that he stepped down. Oh, so they even took his last name?
What's his last name?
I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so he's Henry. He's not Harry. Henry Charles Albert David. Does Harry just not have a last name? So it's complicated for a bunch of rules and proclamations. So let's see. It's going to talk about it. His Royal Highness Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex. So they don't even have they're not like the Joneses.
Well, for a while it was the Habsburgs and the Bourbons and all that.
Prince, wait, side note, imagine your occupation being Prince of the United Kingdom. So here's his birth record. It says, oh no, this is for his son. So Archie's name. Okay, so Archie's name is Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. Oh, they're the Windsors. I've heard that before. They're the Windsors.
Is that why there's a tie named after them? The Windsor knot?
I don't know if that's named after them, but
it's called the Windsor and the
But the name
Half-Windsor.
of his dad and his surname, so the father is put on the birth certificate as His Royal Highness Henry Charles Albert David, Duke of Sussex.
That's a lot.
So he doesn't really have a last name.
That's weird. So does Meghan Markle just have to be Meghan Markle forever?
So if they stripped him of his title, what is his name just
Henry?
Henry Charles Albert David? His last name's David?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Do the British royals have to have the highest concentration of British names?
Like they just keep Charles,
like
David, Albert.
Because they're the most British of the British, does that mean that they have to have all the British names?
Like couldn't be named Marcus or I don't know
that's
what.
That's like 5 first
name
names. His name is like 7 first names
and then Duke of Sussex.
I don't understand.
Oh, but her name was put on the birth certificate for Archie as Rachel Megan, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. So no Markle.
But she's not the Duchess anymore.
Yeah, but this was when Archie was born.
This
is a birth certificate of Archie, their
name's
son.
Archie?
Archie, yeah.
That's a good name.
His name, yeah. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, which I'm assuming is their name.
Wait, is Archie short for Archibald?
Probably.
Archibald.
No, maybe not, because that's his name on his birth record.
Well, nowadays
Archie.
people take shortened names, like when people name Jake, whose names are Jake.
But
your name is.
My aunt did that.
But you're supposed to be Jacob, but your name is just Jake.
My aunt did that with her daughters. One was Debbie, and the other one was Tammy. And it wasn't Tamara and Deborah. It was
Tammy
Debbie.
and
I think it was from Debbie Reynolds, the actress, and Tammy. I don't remember what that one was, but she didn't name them like it wasn't Tamara.
Why would you name your kid after?
And her other daughter's name was Candy.
Candice.
So see, she wasn't a Candace.
Oh,
no,
that's funny. Wait. Why would you ever name your kid after a celebrity? That's like.
I think back then it was more common.
It's
like
just
you're talking like the 60s.
Well, like
there were a lot of really fancy celebrities.
I guess, but like I like a lot of celebrities, but I don't know if I like them. I don't know if they make that much of an impact on my life.
If you were a girl, I would have named you Oprah. I'm kidding.
Oprah.
That was
I feel
not.
like you would have gotten canceled for doing that.
Why?
Because Oprah's like, isn't it? Well, I guess it's like a Christian name, not a black name.
Actually, it wasn't. Did you know that her name actually
to be Orpah,
which is a Christian name, and they messed up on the birth certificate.
Well, why they kept it is beyond me.
I think it was too late at that point.
You can change your kid's name.
It probably wasn't that easy way back then.
Like you could take your little baby to the DMV and get it changed, easy peasy.
Well,
I think it's like $100 though, so maybe they were poor.
What I planned on naming you if you were a girl. I guess I always knew that you weren't a girl. You weren't a girl. I don't think I had a girl's name.
Matilda.
Wait, let me think. I didn't.
Well, maybe you just manifested a boy in your life.
I just knew that you were going to be a boy. So I guess, 25 things that Gen Z, so you guys, tell me if these are true. 25 things that Gen Z hate about millennials that is that hate about millennials, that as a millennial? Oh, I actually agree with. Okay, so this is a
That took
millennial
you a
writing.
minute.
Okay. I'm not a millennial. So as a Gen Xer, maybe I agree with these. So this one says, I hate it when millennials poop. I'm going to change the word because I don't know how we can't use the S word, right? On people born between 1998 and 2002. Y'all realize we lived kind of the same as y'all.
Yeah, that's true. We watched like all the same Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy and all that. So
I hate it when millennials use the word hubbub.
I didn't know millennials use the word hubbub.
I didn't know that either.
I'm very indifferent to that one.
Okay, so I hate it when millennials say, I did a thing. We get it, Ashley, you got highlights.
I don't care about that.
I hate it when millennials are like, oh my God, you haven't seen Star Wars? I feel old. Like the same ones that came out during your lifetime came out during mine. I'm just not interested. I have a life. You know that. You kind of believe. But it's more like the Gen Xers say that.
I'm confused. What?
It says, I hate it when millennials are like, oh my God, you haven't seen Star Wars? I feel old.
Millennials don't say that because everyone's seen Star Wars.
This one said, I hate it when millennials use the word journey. Do you
Yeah,
hate
that's
their journey?
pretentious.
Okay.
What do you like when you're on your journey?
I'm included in this one. Hold on. Fart Lord says,
Fart Lord.
I hate it when millennials, Gen X, and boomers are always like, well, at least I had a real childhood without any technology. Like, shut the F up. No one cares. And the last time I checked, it's still a childhood. So what do you think about that?
I mean, like
you see those, right? Like
yeah,
when we were
I don't know
in
if
my
they
day.
should be like, well, elite. Like, I don't know if they should be like proud of it, but like, I guess I would have envied being out with my friends more than I was inside with my own devices. As the common Gen Z, I stayed home.
I'll read that one. I hate millennials. What the hell is adulting?
Yeah, that's dumb.
Do they say adulting a lot?
Yeah, and some Gen Zers kind of do too, but like I'm 20 and I've never said that.
I hate it when millennials act like boomers to Gen Z. Like, take a joke and stop hating things you don't understand.
I don't talk to any millennials, so what millennials do I talk to? None.
I'm trying to think. Like, maybe in your classes?
No, none of them are millennials. Usually they're older than that or younger than that.
I hate it when millennials complain about being a millennial.
Not any millennials I know complain about being a millennial.
You don't talk to any, you just said.
Well, then yes, don't hate it about being a millennial.
I hate it when millennials tell me, oh, you wouldn't understand, you're too young. Like, okay, Tiffany, just because I was born in 1999, that doesn't mean I don't know what an easy bake oven is. I don't think Tiffany knows what an easy bake oven is.
I know what an easy bake oven is.
You guys didn't have easy bake ovens.
Yeah, we did.
Really?
Yeah, there were TV. I
Maybe
mean,
you can see I didn't have any girls.
I'm a dude, so
I didn't have any easy bake ovens.
That's not
I didn't
what
know
they
that
were
was the thing.
marketed
Mine
towards.
wasn't an easy bake oven. I had a Holly Hobby oven. And you have no idea who Holly Hobby is.
No.
See,
I
so
imagine
you have no
it's
idea
this-
who Strawberry Shortcake is.
Yes, I do.
You knew, okay. Holly Hobby was like another one of those.
Strawberry shortcake would have the freckles and wear the strawberry on her head and all that.
Do you know who Blueberry Muffin was?
No, but I imagine she
Strawberry
knew Strawberry
Shortcake's bestie.
Shortcake. I didn't watch that much
They
Strawberry
smelled
Shortcake.
really good. It was probably so bad for us, but they smelled good. Like sniffing markers. You guys didn't do that either.
Yeah, I'm sure
But then they
some
came,
of us
in
did.
your age, they came out with like scented markers.
We ate glue.
You ate glue. Everybody ate glue. I hate it when millennials respond to Gen Z kids not knowing about your childhood toys, TV shows. What did you expect? It's been 10 years since your favorite show's been popular. I don't think that.
I'm confused.
I'm confused.
2000 ads are largely the same as 90s ads.
That's
and
what I'm
we
saying.
had
You
all
guys
the
didn't
same
have
types
that
of
much
toys.
of a different,
like
especially you.
like you put like well, maybe they're talking about like little Z type Gen Zers where they really didn't have toys as much, but like
That's true.
if you look at an ad from 2005 and you look at an ad from 1996, like
they're pretty much the same. Yeah, I agree with
things
that.
stayed the same for quite a while. So Nickelodeon was Nicktoons and all that was all the same. Like Hey Arnold through SpongeBob, like that was all the same type of 90s 2000 shows.
I think those were still around like when you were little.
Yeah, but a lot of them were. I think they were winding down by
You know,
that
I was wondering
point.
today, isn't Billie Eilish's brother named Phineas?
Yeah.
Do you think they named him that because of Phineas and Ferb?
Well, he's older than me, and Phineas and Ferb came out after I was born.
He's older than you?
Yeah, he's like in his 20s.
So he's a lot older than her. She's younger than you.
Yeah, she's like a year younger than me. Huh. He's not that much older than me.
I was just thinking about that today.
Also, he's named
he was going to be on something.
Phineas and Ferb is a PH, and Phineas from Billie Eilish is an F.
Oh, he's an F. Okay, I didn't know. This one said, "Hate it when millennials are like, oh my god, I can't do this adulting today. It's so hard."
They already said the adulting.
I know, but this is just somebody else saying.
I guess millennials complaining in general is stupid because millennials. Well, I mean, they don't have a ton to complain about unless they're Poe. Are millennials? The millennials have the most money problems.
No, I don't think so. They actually saved more. Remember we discussed
but
that last time.
What about everyone who said that they
X,
can't get jobs and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but they save the most. So in their jobs that they get, they save the most.
Well, I don't know.
Unlike Gen X.
I feel like millennials don't have a ton to complain about.
The last one is, I hate millennials, but their avocado toast is so effing good.
I've never had avocado toast.
Avocado toast is good, but I like to add bacon to it because I'm a Gen Xer.
I've had avocado and I've had toast.
If you add bacon to it, it's really tasty.
To me, avocado sounds better on other things than toast, and toast sounds better on other things than avocado.
You have recently started to like
I know, avocado. But like I like avocado on burgers.
It's good on toast.
But it'd be weird.
But you need to add bacon.
They're both kind of weird.
Then it's definitely good. But millennials disagree because bacon is not on their list unless they're keto. Then you can't have the bread. It's a whole thing. And just Gen X just eats the avocado toast with the bacon.
I don't eat as much bacon as I used to. I don't eat as much meat as I used to.
Is there a reason for that?
No, I don't think so. I just don't eat as much meat.
You actually haven't been eating as much food as you used to.
Yeah, I don't eat that much.
You've slowed down.
I almost always skip lunch.
You've slowed down your ravenous late teen eat everything. You're 20.
And I'm not an eater, so when I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat.
That's right. You're not a gluttonous eater.
Well,
you're an eater, but you're not a glutton.
Some people like eat like I don't think anyone I don't think our family has much of that. I don't think my uncles really eat when they're not hungry either.
I sometimes eat when I'm not hungry.
Yeah, but
it soothes me.
But you're stressed, and you stress. I don't stress eat really.
Yeah, you've never have all your life.
The only thing I consume when I'm stressed is like I like a Coke when I'm stressed, which is bad for me. But like you can only drink so many Cokes.
Yeah, that's true. So this week, apparently, they were saying that somebody tried to cancel Dr. Seuss on Read Across America last week.
I don't understand why.
So here's what happened. So March 2nd is Dr. Seuss Giesel. I think it's spelled Giesel. Giesel. Anyway, Dr. Seuss, that's his name, his last name.
Oh, I didn't know Dr. Seuss had a name.
Yes. So the author, right?
Yeah.
So every year on March 2nd is Read Across America. And that's what it's called, Read Across America. It's not called Dr. Seuss Day. It's not called Read Dr. Seuss Day. But people do dress up like Dr. Seuss on that day.
That's
And it's on
Dr.
his birthday.
Seussy.
That's kind of why they made the day. But okay. So for years and years and years, that's been Read Across America Day. I think it was the Clinton administration that started it, somewhere around that. And during the declarations of those years, they would talk about Read Across America, right? President Obama mentioned Dr. Seuss in his declarations, and it became like a tradition during his tenure of talking about Dr. Seuss, blah, 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 right? Trump gets in. Trump doesn't know any better. Also talks about Dr. Seuss because it's his reading level, and wrong. And they get to now Biden. March 2nd comes around. In his declaration, he didn't mention Dr. Seuss. Ergo, oh my God, they're canceling Dr. Seuss. Same time, the publisher, he didn't mention in his declaration anything about Dr. Seuss. No, there's more. There's more.
I thought it came out that like Dr. Seuss hated.
No,
people.
There's more. So his publisher has already decided that they were going to cancel or stop printing 6 of his books. And they were books that had things in them that were like the depictions of the people in them were like little
Green Eggs and Ham.
No, it wasn't Green Eggs and Ham. They were books you probably really had never even heard of.
The ones that the obscure Seuss.
They had like one that was like going to Africa or something like that, and the depictions of the pictures in there were
black.
Yes, but they looked almost blackface. Oh, and then they had other ones that where
Who's kind of look interesting anyway?
They were going to, yes, but these actually looked really
okay.
like Al Jolson. Like they looked very
Oh, that's no
blackface. And then they were kind of, they looked like they had like their hair up and they were in a loincloth. Like they weren't like that kind of thing. And then they had
Nice.
another one that was
Dr. Seuss.
there was a guy with a little, I think he was supposed to be Chinese and he had like one of those little,
The triangle.
triangle hats, and then a little
right-
tiny mustache and slanted eyes with the long hair.
no.
So the depictions in them, they still looked Who-ish, but
Oh no.
very, very like stereotypical
Okay.
of, and kind of with their hands together. And
Yeah.
so those were the books that they decided to take out of rotation. They stopped publishing them because they felt that they were just probably not the best thing to publish, right? End of story, right? Capitalism wins the day. Free market says, we don't want this in our culture. That's it. End of story, right? That should be the end of it. Oh no. When Biden didn't mention Dr. Seuss, like literally all day on Fox News, that's all they talked about. Dr. Seuss has been canceled.
Oh, so this was the impetus of the Republicans this time.
No.
What?
The Republicans were saying that the liberals, the woke, have now canceled Dr.
But usually
Seuss.
that's in response to like a huge like outburst. But it seems like all that happened is Biden didn't talk about Dr.
Biden
Seuss.
didn't mention Dr.
But
Seuss.
was anyone
ergo-
else like, oh no, like we're liberals on Twitter? Like, yeah, Dr. Seuss.
Not
is
really. I mean, people
terrible.
showed pictures of the books. That's how I knew about them. I guess I had probably seen those
So it
books in the
wasn't
past.
like so it was more a Republican reaction than it was
It was
usually
more
is
kind
the
of
liberals.
No, I think it was more they already knew those 6 books had been stopped.
Yeah.
The publishing had been stopped, and then because Biden didn't mention him, that meant Biden hated Dr. Seuss. And now, but remember, Green Eggs and Ham still around, Cat in the Hat still around. None of those were taken
those
away.
Those are immortals.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
They don't really have disparaging things in them. So they're just children's books,
Cat in
right?
the Hat.
You know, a guy was coming at me saying, "Oh, well, I said, you guys believe in the free market, right? So free market spoke. People have evolved and say that's not appropriate.
Yeah,
End
whatever.
of that, right?
It'd be Dr. Seuss isn't like I don't know much about Dr. Seuss. So is Dr. Seuss even a doctor? What did Dr. Seuss do?
Maybe a PhD.
I don't know anything about Dr. Seuss.
I think it was just that was his.
He just wrote books.
He wrote books.
It's not like
He was an
Mr.
author.
Rogers, who Mr. Rogers was like some excellent human who also happened to have a show.
I don't know that Dr. Seuss was excellent or not excellent. I don't, maybe of the sign of the times. It's just like Disney. Disney has now taken off some of their.
Walt Disney was not an excellent human.
No. But they've taken off some of their. Did you know, like Peter Pan and Dumbo have been put on Disney Plus as now they're not free. They're not. You can't watch them in the under 7 group, like the children's thing.
Well, I'm glad that they did that instead of like censoring them or cutting them or something.
No, they just took them out of
Oh,
rotation
whatever,
in
yeah.
that. But again, Republican Twitter went kind of crazy
What'll
and
happen
said,
is-
"Oh my God, they're canceling Disney." But really, I don't think that that's the case either. I think it's just an evolution that people are like, you know what? We kind of did the wrong thing back then. So now, let's do the right thing, and we'll just put these off to the side.
Well, I really liked Peter Pan as a kid, so like I'll probably end up showing my kids, but it'll just
really
be
liked Peter Pan.
It'll probably just be a matter of me seeking it out myself. But if they want to make it harder to obtain, whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, nothing was canceled.
Disney
That's the
doesn't
thing.
want to be the center of a controversy.
So then also this week, another controversy was Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew.
They
They were talking
know
about
Pepe Le Pew
canceling
is
Pepe Le
rapey,
Pew.
so
So here's what I saw, which made a lot of sense on it. So Pepe Le Pew, yes, he's rapey.
Pepe Le
He
Pew's
grabs the
whole
girl. She
deal
clearly
is
doesn't want to
he's
be.
rapey.
But
He's French.
the good thing was that
and he's racist because
But-
there's second. Well, is French a race?
no
Is he? I don't.
ethnic, no.
Xenophobic?
No,
I don't know.
that wouldn't be xenophobic.
Depiction?
No,
I don't
so
know.
the idea was that he was rapey, so he should be gone, whatever.
Yeah.
But the person that kind of made sense was saying, well, really, Pepe Le Pew was stinky. He was disgusting and stinky, and nobody wanted to be around him. So really, it was kind of like he was a lesson to children. Like, don't be like Pepe Le Pew. Like, he's completely oblivious to anything that's around him. And when he's hugging the girl and she's trying to get away, he stinks. He's gross. He's disgusting. She's
Yeah.
trying to get away. Teaching kids, don't be stinky. Don't be gross. Don't be like all of the Looney Tunes were that. Like every
Yeah.
single Looney Tune was some horrible character that had like lessons to children. Don't be like this guy
Except
because
Bugs. Why wouldn't you want to be like Bugs?
he's smarmy, maybe.
Bugs is great.
Maybe he was the one.
He's like always smart and always comes out on top and like is clever.
But he was always kind of making the other guys go down the tunnel and cause the
kind
problem.
of the guy you want to be in that situation.
Well, maybe
I
Bugs
guess.
wasn't the one that was the
Bugs
bad.
is great.
But other than that, I mean, so
Pepe Le Pew is kind of like I'm trying to think. He's kind of like the Tasmanian devil, like
similarly.
But like in the sense that like there's Bugs and there's Donald. Or not Donald, and there's Daffy, and then there's everyone else. It's like
but Daffy was kind of dumb.
But like I'm just saying, like if they want to cancel Pepe Le Pew, I don't care because who cares about Pepe Le Pew? But if they like try to cancel Bugs, like I'd get my pitchfork.
No,
like,
but I'm saying like they shouldn't cancel any of them because they had purpose, right?
Yeah.
But really, no one was trying to cancel.
Also,
it was Charles Blow, and he made an op-ed in the New York Times saying that they should get rid of Pepe Le Pew because he was rapey.
Are they going to get rid of Speedy Gonzalez because he's Mexican?
They're not going to get rid of any of them. They're not getting rid of Pepe Le Pew either.
Oh.
Basically, the backlash was, listen, they are just characters that actually give lessons.
Is Speedy Gonzalez racist now?
Speedy Gonzalez has always been racist.
Wait. What about Yosemite Sam? Is Yosemite Sam Americanist, Westernist now?
Yosemite Sam is also the guy you don't want to be. Like he's like Yosemite Sam is like the root toot cowboy, like the guy that
he's all 2 feet tall.
Like the horrible, like they all have their own.
What about Elmer Fudd? Wabbit.
He was hunting wabbit.
I'm going wabbit hunting.
He was hunting, but I'm sure there was a euphemism. If there was a euphemism there, I just don't entirely understand it.
Is that making fun of people with speech impediments?
I don't think so.
No.
So after all of those cancellations, this was a busy week for cancellations. So then Hasbro did the ultimate and decided to rebrand Mr. Potato Head, and they lost it. So
what did they rebrand Potato Head as?
Potato Head.
Oh, there's no Mr. anymore?
Yes, but Hasbro said this very clear. We aren't getting rid of Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Under the brand Potato Head, there's still Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. But we no longer call it Mr. Potato Head because there was always a Mrs. So it's now just Potato Head.
The Potato Head
series. But they
series,
lost their minds because
the Potato Head universe.
Because it was gender neutral. I don't even know what it wasn't. They just said we're rebranding because we're putting an umbrella, and people lost it because people are very fragile. I actually think the people that claim the woke are very fragile are actually more fragile than the woke.
I think that people who worry about this stuff have too much time on their hands.
That's true.
I don't worry about any of this.
I don't worry about any of it. I don't care. I think it's funny.
That reminds me because we were now that you talked about Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head and women. The WandaVision just concluded, and WandaVision is primarily about a woman on account of it being Wanda's show because Vision's dead, so it's not really Vision's not really there.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring up because in the newest phase, the Marvel universe exists in phases, and in the newest phase they had it was like the progressive phase, right? Because they had Black Panther. They had Black Panther, and they had Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel was the first female lead of a superhero movie in the Marvel ones. Okay, so we've got 2 women, and Black Widow's going to come out, so there's that too. But that's not out yet.
And Wonder Woman was not Marvel, right?
No, Wonder Woman's not Marvel, and also the second one was bad.
Okay.
According to, I haven't watched it.
Okay.
But, okay, so WandaVision's out, and Captain Marvel came out. Captain Marvel was bad. It was a bad movie.
That was the girl, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
It was a bad movie.
I didn't hate it.
It wasn't so bad that it was unwatchable, but just from like a plot perspective, like it was pretty like, well, the man's the bad guy and he betrayed her and womp 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 wompity womp. Like it was a very simple movie.
Okay.
Like they clearly didn't like.
Remember, this is International Women's Day.
It's a very simple movie. But
don't be hating.
I'm not hating, but it's like they kind of made it like this is because it was the first woman movie, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, this is going to be the women's feminist movie of the year, and it was bad. So in WandaVision, they didn't do any of that. Like, not at all. None of the none of the marketing material was like, and she's a woman. Bleh. Like that was totally how Captain Marvel was. Like, look at this woman.
Wasn't it
how
WandaVision? They were
powerful
both.
she-"
It was Wanda and Vision.
Vision's dead though. So he's in it, but he's dead. So it's
she's
Wanda's
the main
show.
character.
Wanda
Okay.
is the main character.
Is she a druggie? Is she?
No, she's the Scarlet Witch.
Okay, go ahead.
She's a witch.
Okay.
She's got magic. She's a witch.
Okay.
So, but they didn't do any of that for WandaVision. It was just WandaVision. It's a mystery. You're gonna like it. Mm-hmm. And WandaVision was excellent. It was an excellent show. It had all the aspects of an excellent show. It had twists. It had mysteries. It was a great show. And I'm very proud of them for figuring out, oh, maybe we should just, it's like Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek was like, oh, maybe we should just put LGBT people in the show and not talk about it.
Like show everyone living normally.
Yeah, like, oh, there's a woman in the show and we didn't even think about it because that is just how it is.
Yeah.
Like even
it's just a show about women.
Yeah, people consider Black Panther to be good, and I do too. Mm-hmm. But Black Panther was a little bit like, oh yeah, we had an all-black production team, and yeah, it's Wakanda forever, and look, there's a token white guy this time. And it's like, okay, yeah, the next Black Panther, can it just be, oh look, it's a movie about superheroes, and they're all black, and we don't even have to talk about it. Like, we need to phase things in.
Yes.
Like, phase it in, don't even talk about it. Like,
just
not
this
even
is what's normal.
Yeah. Like,
well, and I think going back to the stuff with Pepe Le Pew and Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss, I think that's where it's going. Like, it's the whole idea that we don't really need to talk about it. We know what our past was. We know what the history was. We know it was bad. And we're going to take the good things and we're going to look at the good things. We're going to take the bad things and we're going to move them to the side because we don't need them anymore. And then we're going to move on. Yeah. And I think that, but I see that the people that are so angry about it and so upset about it. I asked somebody the other day, I said, why does this upset you so much? Like, literally, you've probably never seen any of those 6 books and you're very upset about it. And I don't understand why they're so angry, why they're so upset. Literally, it's just society evolving, saying, you know what? We don't need that stuff anymore. So let's just put it to the side and take the good and get rid of the bad.
I was more upset about Star Wars Lady because I didn't think that they needed to fire her. She's like Trumpy and whatever, but like, oh well. She was a good actress.
Well, I think you made a good point the other day because you said
I said if Disney kept her hired, she couldn't do any harm. But now she's being scooped up by like I think something associated with Ben Shapiro.
I think Newsmax is taking her OAN.
Where she's gonna do plenty of harm, and she's pissed now, so she's gonna be reeling to do some harm.
I think it makes it worse.
Yeah, she would
because then they have a platform.
Yeah,
and now let her say her dumb stuff.
She didn't even say. I don't know. I don't care. Pedro Pascal, I think, is her friend, and Pedro Pascal's progressive. So if Pedro Pascal can be her friend,
I have friends that they disagree with me politically and can be horrible people.
I don't get it.
I
and Disney fired her because Disney didn't want to be the bad guy.
What?
Disney fired her because Disney didn't want any of her exploding on them. So I kind of get it. But
I get why they do it but I don't think people would have necessarily said, well, you know what, I'm not going to watch Mandalorian because of this.
They would have, some of them.
Yeah. But some others would say, I'm now going to watch Mandalorian because of this.
James Gunn, they fired him for like the tweets he did like 10 years ago, and then they hired him right back.
That's what you said about her, but they said, well, they have no plans to hire her back.
They should have like whispered in her ear as she walked out, like, this is just for PR. We'll have you in
But
it for a little
they did
while.
say to like literally, we will not bring her back.
Well,
so they'll just have to
luckily,
change.
They fired her right after the show ended. I mean, supposedly they're going to do another season, but they wrapped it up like it was like Baby Yoda's.
It doesn't matter what
like
they
Baby
do.
Yoda was like central to the show, and Baby Yoda's like off doing his own thing now. So I don't know.
Oh, he's no longer in the show?
Well, well, I don't know. It's been out for a while. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it by now, what's wrong with you?
Did you say something's wrong with me?
Yes, well, you don't care, but Baby Yoda gets scooped up by Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker is going to train him to be a Jedi.
But he's not really Baby Yoda, is he?
No, but that's his name.
Because he's not Yoda.
He has a name. His name is Grogu, but everyone calls him Baby Yoda.
But he's not really Baby Yoda.
He is a Yoda of Yoda's species.
So Yoda is a Yoda, not the
no one,
Yoda?
No one knows what their species is called. So
Isn't it funny how you can make up things later on down the road? Like he
it's
was
called
Yoda.
it's called retconning, and they're not called Yodas. They don't
Does
have
Yoda have a different name?
Yoda's name is Yoda. That's like his first name. My name's Yoda. But like no, Yoda was the only like okay. If you watch every Star Wars movie up before Mandalorian, there's only one
I know.
Yoda.
I know that.
But no, so because of that, they never had to like give him a home planet or name his species.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Now they have.
No, they
Like-
haven't. No one knows what they know Grogu's name, but they don't know what he is. Like no one knows what to call.
But they don't know he's a Yoda?
Well, he clearly looks like Yoda, but they don't know what Yodas are called.
Oh, so they're not Yodas.
They don't have any.
See how confusing
they,
this is?
They don't have any
I feel
species.
so
it's
lost.
like.
And you wonder why I don't watch this.
I'm just saying. But like anyway, Baby Yoda is off with Luke Skywalker now, getting trained, and Mandalorian kind of cried about it because he was like, "Oh, I love Baby Yoda."
And Mandalorian is the
guy at the helmet.
The guy with the helmet.
Yeah, and you know what? They did set up a cool story.
That used to be Boba Fett, right?
No, Boba Fett is separate from.
But he wears the same helmet.
No, he doesn't. They looked slightly different.
Okay.
Anyway, they did set up a cool. I take that back. The next season of Mandalorian will likely be him dealing with being an extremist.
Wait. Oh, Mandalorian?
Yeah,
but
because-
isn't it some kind of religion?
Yeah, but he was like in this sect of Mandalorians, and they can't take their helmets off. Like
Yeah.
you can never take your helmet off unless
Okay.
you're eating alone.
Okay.
And the show sets it up like, oh, okay, this is like how Mandalorians are. But then some other Mandalorians come around, and they totally can take their helmets off, and they're like, oh, he's one of the like.
So he's the fundamentalist
yeah, he's
Mandalorian.
like the fundamentalist Mandalorian, and like he kind of like you can kind of see him near the end of the show starting to be like, what's going
Like
on?
he doesn't want to be so conservative
he's
anymore.
like, yeah,
So fundamental.
So maybe the next season will be his journey.
You said journey. I think you're
Yeah,
millennial.
well, his journey away from that.
You're so close to millennials that you now say journey.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be. Maybe he'll learn to take his helmet off because Pedro Pascal's pretty cute. So
Is that who is the
yeah, Pedro
Mandal-
Pascal is the Mandalorian.
See, I don't know any of these people.
You should watch them because they're good shows.
I watched like a couple of them and they weren't bad, which I don't necessarily. But I've seen some of the Star Wars and they weren't bad. I
No, but,
like them.
I think
I even
the
like
Star
the one with
Wars
Jar Jar
are bad.
Binks in it. I think Jar Jar
I
Binks
think
is
you should
hilarious.
watch WandaVision too because you like mysteries and it's a really good mystery.
I don't think I would have hated it. It's just that first episode was so weird. I was so excited because when I saw the first episode, I was watching it like in the background, and I was like, "Ooh, it's like I Love Lucy. Ooh, it's like
Well, will you watch
it's
it
like
with me?
Bewitched. Ooh, it's like this." And then it wasn't any of those things, and so I was disappointed.
Will you watch it with me again after Letterkenny?
Yes, I'll watch it with you.
How are you now?
Good, and you.
Not so bad.
I think
Give your balls a tug.
I'm pretty sure that we are the only two people that in America that like that show. Have you heard anyone that likes
Well,
that show?
on YouTube, there's actually a lot of like compilations of it. I don't know if they were
Even
made
like
by
on
Americans
Twitter,
or not.
there's no. I think in
It's not like-
Canada, it's very good.
It's not
show.
like Schitt's Creek that picked up, but there's a problem. Schitt's Creek went on Netflix.
yeah.
Letterkenny
it
went on Hulu.
They
If
should have gone to
Letterkenny
Netflix.
goes on Netflix, Letterkenny could
Can
end
that
up
happen?
like Schitt's Creek.
Can it go from
Yeah, they
Hulu
only
to-
have the licensing for so long unless Disney owns Crave.
Well, because if Letterkenny goes to Hulu or goes to Netflix,
It could go the
would
way
be
of
a
Schitt's Creek and The
great.
Office.
But the first couple, remember we watched the first episode and we were like, whatever. But it got better and better.
You know what? I wonder if Canada has figured out a formula because Schitt's Creek is a rural town in, I think, Ontario.
I think so too. Ontario.
And Letterkenny is a rural town.
But they're different though. They're
different
were there
comedy.
any- okay,
but
so if we look back to Schitt's Creek,
maybe Canada works with what they have.
Were there any hicks in Schitt's Creek? There were, huh?
I mean, would you consider Roland Shit a hick?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Roland Shit's a hick.
But I don't think they were farmers, so maybe because they were in a city.
Yeah, but he was still like hicky.
Yeah, that's
and it
true.
wasn't a
And
city; it
so
was a town. It's
so
just
was
not a
his-
farming town.
So was his wife.
yeah,
She reminded me of a lot of the girls on Letterkenny.
They were actually the people in Schitt's Creek are more homey.
Yeah.
The people in Letterkenny's almost like a young town, like a young.
Yeah, there are no
rural
old
town.
people.
Yeah,
Well,
they're all young,
The coach is like the oldest.
and they're all a little bit more degenerate. I think that they might be like either a lower income or
And
an
yet they-
even more rural town.
and they hate the degens.
yeah, degens
From
from
upcountry.
upcountry. Because wait, Schitt's Creek is right for is like a short drive away from the big town next to Schitt's Creek. What's the name of it again?
Oh, I can't remember.
Where the dress barn is?
Yeah, but I can't remember the name of it.
So they're right next to a big town. Letterkenny is.
Letterkenny's not by a big town.
Letterkenny is alone in Ontario.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it.
It's a good show. So if anybody is listening to this, you definitely want to check out Letterkenny on Hulu, and then send us an email because we totally think we're the only people in the United States that's watching Letterkenny.
So
please
good.
let us know on our Facebook page.
And tell us who your favorite character is.
Yeah.
Ours is Shorzy.
Shorzy's
Give
great.
your balls a tug.
Don't say the rest.
Screw you, Shorzy.
Horrible.
It's tough.
So speaking of drunk people, because I guess the Skids, they were drunk a lot, right? Last night we watched our favorite 90 Day Fiancé. What did you think about Stephanie with her new man Harris?
Harris wants to come to America.
He full on admitted
He's
that.
like, I love you.
He's like, I love you, Stephanie, but I want to come to America. She was so super drunk that night, and then she's like, "Oh, Harris, I wish that we would have put you on the paperwork to bring you to the United States." And then he told her that he had a wife with 3 kids, and the wife gets rid of him and then gets him back and gets rid of him because she gets tired of him. And he's still willing to leave the kids and go to America because he thinks America would be better for him. That's so crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. She was like, I don't know why I've never had a boyfriend. And now I'm like, I do.
I know why you never had a boyfriend.
So
no, she's crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. But I don't know. You tell me that people don't like Yara, and Yara's the best person probably on that show.
I think that people on the Facebook page that don't like Yara, they don't like her because they're jealous of her.
She's great.
She's gorgeous.
Gorgeous, and she's smart, and she's funny.
Yeah.
She's like got all the good traits.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't find anything. She's fair too. She's like ruthlessly fair. Like if she feels like she's been being treated well, she's like an angel.
She even with the mom, like she said, oh, well, she felt bad.
Yeah,
and she said, if you really want to come to the wedding,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, right? That was cute,
Yeah.
right?
And then Jovi just goes and gets drunk and goes up with strippers, and like she for some reason stays with him.
Well, the sneak preview to the sneak preview to the next week's episode is she's not talking to him. Now, whether or not she knows exactly what he did, we don't even know exactly what he did, but it looked bad. He went upstairs with the stripper.
Yeah, but strippers don't normally do that.
But something upstairs was happening.
But strippers don't normally do what you'd imagine they're doing.
It was probably
up there.
even a personal dance.
It was probably a lap dance.
I feel like it's just too much.
Well, most guys do that at strip clubs before their wedding. So I don't know how much you want to fault him for that.
I guess I wouldn't fault him for it, but if he did anything else.
Yeah, if he did everything.
She looks really pissed.
I wouldn't really be, like, I've never understood it. I'd rather go to Vegas and get hammered than go to Vegas and go to a strip club. Like, I'd rather gamble.
Yeah, but you heard what his friends were saying. Like, that was his every Friday night. Like, he knew the strippers by name.
It sounds way more fun
But I
gamble.
thought it was also bad that they took stacks of ones.
Yeah, well,
And then
how trashy.
Yeah, they were throwing the ones at them.
Who wants your ones,
like,
bro?
Just give them a 20 and stop pretending you're something
but why don't
you
they
aren't.
turn all those ones into however many 20s they are, and when they just give her 120.
Or just give her I don't know, maybe it was $100, but just give her $100. Why are you making really she has to go crawl around and grab your money? What a dick!
Bend over.
That's so gross. He's just gross. Jovi's gross.
Well, you have to
even believe she's
understand. I'm
with
pretty
him.
sure Jovi and all Jovi's friends aren't feminists. Like they're like they don't see women as much more than
sad.
what.
You know what? And he's so lucky because she's super smart.
Yeah, she's not just hot. Like hot girls are great and everything, but like it
and
takes
I think
more.
she had a good life in Ukraine.
Yeah, she's totally great.
I don't know. I feel bad. And then what? So what about So Tariq called the girlfriend Minty. And
Tariq needs to run.
He needs to run. She's horrible.
She's horrible.
She just wants.
I get that Tariq has he wants an Asian girlfriend, but maybe find another Asian girlfriend.
She seems to think that he only likes the Thai girls. She's Filipino.
He had
Minty is Thai.
I don't fully blame her for thinking of that because he has a shirt literally that's like Thai Thailand.
No, so if you go back to the beginning, he loved everything Thai. That's where
Yeah.
he first went. I don't know how he ended up with a Filipino girl, but he loved
she's Filipino?
everything Thai.
I don't know.
And then they got a Thai girlfriend because she wanted a girlfriend. So they find a Thai girlfriend. She's jealous of the Thai girlfriend.
What's with the thruples all of a sudden? Like, I mean, no hate on thruples, but like,
I don't think
it
she
doesn't seem very
necessarily wants
natural
the
for
throuple.
them.
She wants to have a girlfriend,
Yeah, I think
but
she's.
also live in America.
I think she likes girls more than she likes boys, if she does at all. Oh,
I don't think she likes him at all.
but she gets jealous of him, so she might like him somewhat.
No, I don't think she gets jealous of him. I think she's mad that Minty didn't like her.
But I thought Minty did like her
I think she's mad that Minty liked Tarek more than her.
Oh,
Right?
Minty's cuter than her.
Minty's pretty.
Yeah, Minty's cute.
And
And why is her name Minty?
I don't I don't know. Think of an American name, Minty. Maybe they like the gum commercial. Ooh, Minty.
So minty. I don't know.
Minty gum. I don't know why they picked the
Speaking
names
of
they picked.
Asians in commercials,
What?
Japanese commercials are the best. Have you ever watched
I
Japanese
haven't
commercials?
watched very many Japanese.
They're absurd.
Aren't all commercials absurd?
No, they make American commercials look pretty normal.
That's funny.
They're absurd.
I don't think I've ever seen them.
They're great. There's a lot of things in Japan that are absurd, though. I love Japan.
I don't know. I don't know much stuff about. I'm not a weeaboo.
Wouldn't you have to be a weeaboo to like Japan? You have to want to live there and think that Japanese culture is superior to your own.
Oh, that's a weeaboo?
Yeah.
So,
And it has to be based on anime, not in an actual cultural appreciation for Japan.
so it's only anime.
No, it's like people watch anime and they have some delusion that living in Japan
Is
makes
like
your
an
life
anime?
an anime, and
Oh,
it's
I see.
absolutely not. Japanese people grind.
Like people think that they just sit around and watch their
People think, well, anime, like,
their doges.
anime is very
and-
like, well, it's a guy, and the guy, like, a girl definitely likes him, and he's not all that great. So you don't have to be that great. A girl likes you.
and she's always pretty.
And she's always cute, and you just chill, and you speak Japanese, and Japanese is a cool sounding language, and Japan has cool stuff. So it's a very, like, I guess, like, idealistic, like, alluring idea that isn't real.
So like the nerds,
Yeah, it's like
they know that their life would never be that.
because
so
Japanese
they-
people are definitely a nerdy bunch.
Yeah, but that's cool. So
Yeah.
the nerds that see the anime.
But
and
even
then
the
they
girls are, and the
Yeah.
girls are cute.
Yeah.
So it's like a good time. I mean,
But what do Japanese people think about the weeaboos? Are they like, oh, not another
I've watched videos on it before. I mean, Filthy Frank's half Japanese, and you don't want to see his weeaboo video, but he's American.
I know, but like what do
But like Japanese people on the street have been interviewed before, and they're like, "Oh, that's so funny. That's so weird."
so they just think of it as kind of nerdy, weird.
Well, Japan has a
They're not
problem.
mad about it.
Japan has a problem right now with what's called hikikomoris, and there's not an American word for it, so you have to say hikikomori.
Okay.
There's no translation, and it's kind of like a weeaboo. It's a Japanese. They live in their rooms.
Wait, but they're Japanese people, right?
They're Japanese. It's a problem in Japan. Like,
Okay.
it's not like, I don't know how common it is in America,
Okay.
but they live in their rooms, usually supported by their parents or something, or their friend, or I don't know, and they don't leave their rooms. It's ramen or whatever else they eat, and their PS4 and
so
their
they
bed.
game.
Yeah,
Do they go to school? Nothing.
Maybe online, but generally they don't have any.
No drive and
They're,
desire.
they're
But isn't
like,
it because
I want to do this until I'm dead.
But isn't it because
It's hard to live in Japan.
It's hard to live
And
there.
It's kind of like, oh, well, this is all I can do.
Like I'm never going to be able to compete,
I've
so I'll just.
yeah, Japan. There's a lot of pressure on Japanese young
But what
people.
do the parents say? Because
Well, Japanese people are a little bit less direct than American people. So I imagine the parents are, well, one day, and one day never comes.
like hoping.
Yeah, Japanese parents are not like Japanese. Like I learned this in my business class, right? Japanese, like if you go up to an American CEO and you're like, I need this, they'll be like, no. And if you go to a Japanese CEO and you're like, I want to do this, they'll be like, okay, we'll talk about it, which means no. Japanese people don't straight say no most of the time.
I see.
It's not
So
polite.
Culturally
yeah,
different.
culturally different.
So swinging it back here to the United States, today, the CDC released guidelines giving, quote, limited freedoms to
That's
people.
not what the CDC said. That's what
But that's
CNN
basic.
said.
No, but it was that. I read
Well,
the CDC
this-
guidelines. This is basically saying they have limited freedoms to people fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and then they give the rules to follow. And it was basically that if you're fully vaccinated, you can hang around with other vaccinated people, hug people that are vaccinated, and take off your masks
The thing is,
in indoor dining.
Thing is, CDC doesn't have any power, and people have been doing that anyway.
But I think that's why people were so mad at that statement, because they said, first of all, you're just giving guidelines. Your job is not to tell us what our freedoms are.
I thought that CNN said that, not.
No, it was part of what they said in the.
Yeah, that's not their job. They're not executive.
Yeah, and so everyone was upset about it because they were saying, we already have those freedoms. We've had those freedoms at the beginning. You're not giving us anything we didn't already have.
Yeah, no matter what the CDC says, if a state wants to open, there's nothing the CDC nor the federal government can do about it.
They can call them Neanderthals, but that was a dumb
Biden
move.
shouldn't have said that.
That was
even
so
if
wrong.
Even if you think Texas shouldn't have opened, you shouldn't.
It was
call them
Texas
that.
and Mississippi.
Because then you're just like, oh, look at you, alienating the Republicans even more.
Well,
That'll
he
get
came
something
off
done.
when he said it came off as, I think, Trumpian, because he was so off
you
the cuff
shouldn't
with
do
it.
that.
But the next day, Connecticut, which is Dem,
Yeah, the Dems
said,
are like-
we're opening too. So then what do you say? How do you walk that
Arizona
back?
just recently followed.
But they're kind of mixed Republic. They're a
Just-
purple
well,
state.
I'm just saying.
No, but now 20 states are giving up the mask mandate.
Well, they keep saying, like I read from CNN something that I found to be totally unacceptable, where they said if you're vaccinated, you have to wear a mask because, and they gave a because, and the because was you could still have particles of the virus in your nose and mouth that you could then expel and infect other people with. So it wasn't, oh, you could still potentially have it. There's a 5% chance of non-severe illness.
It's not even that.
Okay, but let's say that they said that. At least that's somewhat true.
Yeah.
But guys, just in case you didn't know, COVID doesn't hang out in your nose and live it's a virus. Viruses are weak particles. They don't just chill in your nose and get expelled by your breath when you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, it's because they also call them carriers, which is ridiculous. No one is a
In
carrier
order to be a
of this.
carrier, you must be infected. You can't it doesn't just coat your nose.
No, but people are under the assumption that you constantly carry it.
Who?
People think that.
Journalists at CNN? Someone needs to take their basic college degree away.
Well, yes, that should have. It wasn't just CNN.
If you make it through 4 years of college, there's no reason you shouldn't understand. You have to. That's something you can't get through 4 years of college without understanding. I don't care if you're in med school, if I'm pre-med or poli-sci.
you still take a science course.
But not
In
even
high school, you took a science
No, it's not
course.
even a science course. It's just you have to understand basic
But
pathology.
listen, when they say words like that, they are carriers. It
doesn't-
makes them sound like it's like herpes or HIV.
Oh my God.
You're not a carrier
I
of
don't
this illness. A
understand.
virus is weak. It lives for several days.
Well, herpes is
and
a virus, but it's laying dormant
it lays
in your
dormant
cellular
in your-
matrix.
yes,
So
but
that's a little different.
You can carry those diseases, and you can shed the virus without having any symptoms
Yes.
with those viruses.
You can shed my understanding is that asymptomatic spread is minimal shedding,
like-
but you can, I suppose.
Very small. It's usually not asymptomatic. It's pre-symptomatic.
Yeah.
It's right before you actually get full-blown something or other.
Well, I can't believe that CNN. I can't believe that anyone at
It's not just CNN.
whose editor let
It's
that through.
so many different media outlets that are just
CNN's
giving.
the only one I saw, so it's the only one I can speak
so
to.
I put an article up recently that there was a doctor out of Johns Hopkins, right? So in the beginning of this, Johns Hopkins was the gold standard. Like if Johns Hopkins said something, then that was the gold standard. That was who was handling all the data.
Isn't that the one
that
in
was
LA?
who the no, it's like
LA.
in Massachusetts. I don't even know where.
Well,
Anyway,
what's the one rich people go to in LA?
oh, Cedar-Sinai.
Oh, okay.
No, so that was the gold standard. Like those were the doctors and the experts that we
Yeah,
were supposed to listen to,
yeah.
right? So there's a surgeon from Johns Hopkins. He's an oncologist.
Is it Johns Hopkins or John Hopkins?
Johns Hopkins? I believe.
I thought it was John Hopkins.
I think it's Johns Hopkins.
I don't know.
Johns Hopkins.
John Hopkins?
Let's look it up.
Johns
Now you're just making me
Hopkins.
confused.
Well, I don't want to be saying the wrong word. I don't know how we...
Johns Hopkins.
Johns Hopkins.
See, I was right.
Oh, that's weird.
So Johns Hopkins, so they were the gold standard, right? So this surgeon comes out and does an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal like 3 weeks ago and says, hey, we know that there's probably been 100 million cases of the actual infection. That's what we know through the CDC numbers. We also know that now that vaccines are out, when we have like 100 million people vaccinated, we're going to be at like 200 million people. So that's 66.
Well, there's going to be some overlap between the.
That's 66% of our population. And we know that that heads us into herd immunity, right? He dared use herd immunity as something. So he comes out, he says this, he's a surgeon. His name is McCary. You guys can look it up. He wrote this this great article, Professor McCary, Dr. McCary. He wrote this up and said this, and that was that, right? Wrote an op-ed. He said herd immunity will happen by end of April, given how many vaccines we're giving at this time.
That's the same as Biden's time frame.
Okay. So everybody was kind of cool with that. Other people and other data kind of cool with that. The IMEHE, who does the data forecasting for this, also has it like a month out, same thing, that's going to be when we hit herd immunity. I posted on my Facebook, and like a week later, Facebook fact checkers from I don't know where decide that is not enough information, and we're going to put something on your Facebook that says when people read it that there's misinformation there. So at what point do we like Johns Hopkins, right? Those are the experts. And then you put it on Facebook, and then it's no longer real.
Well,
so
I
then
think Facebook's a cancer on this world.
But then you're just gaslighting people.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Because we were told to listen to the experts. We're listening to the experts.
And also, like...
I take issue with that.
I take issue with the fact that, like, no one ever was like, there's going to be an end. Like, no one ever was like... Like, someone should have been like, no matter what happens, like, even if it was, like, a ridiculous date, someone should have said, like, no matter what happens... January 2022, we're lifting all the restrictions because we can't sacrifice our way of life for this. But no one ever said that.
No,
like,
we were in.
It seemed that we were willing to do this for as long as it would take, theoretically, infinite amount of time. Like, even now with vaccines, they're not even saying, like, they need to say, listen, guys, if we achieve, as projected, we achieve herd immunity by May, that's Biden's projection, right? Then at that point, we will all be taking off masks and going to full capacity and going back to concerts in Disneyland.
Yes.
That's what they need to say. They need to say that's what's going to happen with herd immunity because they're not saying it.
The biggest problem is that now that vaccines are out, and even though they said, if you're vaccinated, you can hug fellow people that are vaccinated. Then they said you can hug children, which children aren't vaccinated. Children shouldn't be vaccinated. They're not tested. This is not, they don't get it the same way. But we said, like last week, we were talking about Dr. Monica Gandhi, and it's what she said. We need to give hope here. We need to tell people, if you're vaccinated, then you're good. After 3 weeks of your second vaccination,
my understanding is that they might be afraid to overpromise, but they need to.
The data's there.
But doesn't matter. Even if the data wasn't there, they need to overpromise.
But now the data's there.
They've been underpromising for so long that now it's time to overpromise.
Well, and then what you do is then you breed vaccine hesitancy because people are like, if the vaccine isn't going to do anything for me, why would I risk taking a vaccine? So that's a problem too. And then they're just called, oh, well, you're an anti-vaxxer. No, you're closing down a conversation on somebody that you really could explain this to and make them feel more comfortable with it by saying, well, it's not going to change your life any.
I'm super comfortable. Like I'm like almost at zero hesitancy about the J&J vaccine. I like that specific one, not the rest of them. The rest of the Moderna. No. The Moderna.
You're talking about the AstraZeneca.
The AstraZeneca one, I wouldn't touch with a 15-foot pole.
The FDA won't either. They won't approve it. So.
Oh my God, Australia was like, oops. So everyone,
Oxford, AstraZeneca.
Everyone, if we're talking about the AstraZeneca vaccine, then I'm an anti-vaxxer. But the Moderna and the Pfizer, meh. But I would want the J&J, and I feel like everyone would want the J&J because that's the easiest one to transport, and it's only a one-shot vaccine. I think they have to be careful
though, because somebody was saying that they wanted to do the marketing for it as one and done.
That's a good one.
No, but here's the thing. What you don't know was that they tried that already in the 1960s with the MMR, and it was said when the first vaccine came out, that's the marketing was one and done, right? One and done. You guys are good. You have your measles, mumps, and rubella. You're not going to get it. Your kids only need this one shot. Well, by the time you were born, it was then you needed two, and now for little Z, they're like, well, maybe we were wrong. You might need 3 of them. So one and done is way over promising. Maybe we should not do
Well,
that
at least
again.
for this first, like the next 2 or 3 years, it's one and done,
I mean,
right?
people don't know that, but some people do. Remember, the people that you want to get this vaccine are the elderly, right? They were alive during the 60s when the one and done thing came out. So maybe they might feel a little,
Well,
deceived.
What's a better tagline?
No, one and done is great, but think of who you're marketing it to.
Dope it and open?
Dope it. I don't think it's dope.
I don't know.
Vax and Jax. I don't know. Vax and get jacked.
Put it in, try again.
What?
I don't know.
One's not a pun? No, that would be bad. Like no joke.
One stab, how fab?
Oh, there you go. One stab, how fab.
Heck yeah.
See, the marketing genius.
It's all girls like one stab. How fab.
in their tight jeans.
And then there's going to be a women's and a men's commercial, and the men's one will be like, well, one snuff, how tough? I don't know. Like, like I don't know.
They could say it. What do they say? One jab,
Not bad.
One
jab,
jab,
not bad. He's all like, he's all huge. Like, one stab, not bad.
And she's like, one stab, so fab. One stab, so fab. J&J.
Oh, I think they
Johnson & Johnson.
I think they need to hire us.
I think they do. Who knew that we had a marketing career? Here we are trying to do podcasts.
What's Moderna's and Pfizer's tagline? Like, yeah, you gotta come back twice.
One's not enough.
They're not very potent. Moderna and Pfizer are like, we're the one you kind of want to avoid.
We know you never trusted us.
No, they're like, we make your heart like ever so slightly more difficult than it should be.
No, I like that. One jab. What is it again?
One jab, how fab.
One jab.
No. One stab, how fab. One jab.
One jab, how fab. And then the guys is one stab. No, one snuff.
How tough.
How tough.
No, it's one jab.
Snorted.
One jab, so fab. One stab, not bad.
Oh, I thought you said one snuff.
No, because the guy's like,
too
not
tough.
bad. No, because snuff doesn't make sense.
Okay, so one stab, not bad.
No, one stab, one jab, how fab, one stab, not bad. And the one stab,
So,
not. But the
one
first
jab,
part is a girl, and the second one, it's like a 50s ad. They
Yeah.
need to do it like a 50s ad.
You got to change your voice then.
Yeah, they're like, what? She's all, one stab, how fab.
How fab.
One jab, not bad. It's all Mad Men. Don Draper's all.
We're crazy. So I guess we're coming to a close here. Remember, get your vaccine because we can get out of this quicker.
Yeah, I never thought I'd
Get
be
your
saying
J&J.
that.
I think they're out like
J&J.
this week. You can start getting them at different
Well,
places.
they said they had like a huge shipment ready for as soon as the dingus approved it, and the dingus approved it. So
the FDA is who you're calling
whatever.
dingus.
Well, the matter I don't think. I think I'm just gonna grab it really, like as soon as they let me, California. But I would only.
You have
I'd
to
be
find
like,
it,
I'd
though.
have to be like, what do you do with the J&J? Like I'll have to
Well,
find a
because
place.
remember the big push is get whatever they'll give you.
Yeah, no, I want the J&J. Like I'm gonna be picky about it, and you can.
But did you know, I will say, they did further studies on the Moderna and Pfizer, and they found that even after one dose, it 100% covers you from severe illness and death.
Well, then why are they doing two anyway? That's stupid.
It's like a booster.
But that's stupid. If it gets you for severe disease and death, then
Yeah.
why
So you wouldn't have to go through the second dose, which is the most reactive and painful. But you could technically have one, and you will not die.
Nope, I'm getting J&J.
I'm
Are
just
there
saying.
sites that are there? I know my understanding is that sites have all the vaccines and they just kind of give you what they have.
No, I think they get
Are
them
there
at different
sites that are like
ways.
we're a J&J site, we're a Moderna site, we're a Pfizer site?
Yeah,
like,
different places have different vaccines.
Well, I know Kaiser's going to have more than one of them,
Well, right now they have Moderna.
but they have.
But you know why,
They're going to
right?
have all three
Yeah, but you know why they only have Moderna, right?
Because they're friends.
Well,
with
J&J hasn't come out yet for them, but the reason they have Moderna is because they don't have the freezers to handle the Pfizer vaccine. Pfizer's the one that has to be kept
Pfizer's
like negative
most
140
one.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of places don't have Pfizer for that reason because they don't have they can't, like especially the rural areas, they can't have those.
Well, they're both RNA, so I don't understand why one mRNA is more fragile than the other mRNA.
Yes, I don't know if it's the carrier or the way they kept the enzymes on the tips. I don't know.
Okay.
So anyway, don't forget to email us if you guys have questions. And what were they supposed to email us to tell us? What were they supposed to tell us?
They weren't supposed to tell us anything as far as I remember.
We forgot.
Oh, they asked us to tell us something. They can listen to the last episode and remember if we want to remember that.
So it's Gen X and Gen Z at protonmail.com, and we'll answer your questions on our next show. If you guys have something that you want to talk about, you can always go to our X and Z Facebook page and give us a like. Follow us, and you can ask questions there, and I'm always posting on it so we can do different fun.
She's always on Facebook
X and
posting,
Z,
and I don't
because I'm
Facebook.
Gen Xer, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And you should do it on Instagram because that's what you do.
I haven't made an Instagram page.
I've done some of the stuff on my Instagram, but we
work.
should do a actual page.
Yeah, Instagram pages are easy.
You should do that. That's your job. So I'll do a Facebook page. You can do the Instagram page.
Okay.
So anyway, Gen X and Gen Z at protonmail.com, and send us your emails. And I guess we are out of here. So I'm X.
I'm Z.
And together we're
X and Z.